Well, folks, we've been working through these western states. I think we started with Wyoming elk, then went to Arizona elk and antelope, then Utah, then Montana, then Wyoming, moose, goat, sheep, and bison. And now we're going to do one of the easy states, New Mexico. No point system. How about that, huh? None of this real intricate stuff that we have to explain. But we're going to walk through some of the important things that you need to know about New Mexico, because I tell people you should be applying in New Mexico every year. It fits just about every budget, and some of the greatest hunting in the West, if you're lucky, can be yours in New Mexico. The New Mexico deadline is March 21st this year. And we'll find out from New Mexico, I think sometime in late April is usually when you get the results. The thing you need to know about New Mexico is it's one of the cheaper states to apply. Yeah, you have to give them an application fee up front that is usually $12 to $15 per species. You have to buy a refundable non-resident license, which is $65. And you have to pay the full tag fee up front, but that's refunded if you don't draw. So if you play your cards right, the only cost to apply in New Mexico is the non-refundable application fee. The tag fee is refundable, the license fee is refundable. That's a pretty cheap way to get your name in the hat. So what I'm going to explain to you is how the New Mexico draw works for all species. It has three parts. Here's how it breaks out. The resident only draw, 84% of all the tags go into that draw. Only residents can apply for them. Then you have the guided draw, which anybody who uses the services of an outfitter puts their guide number in there, and 10% of the tags are allocated to that draw. And then the final portion is the non-resident self-guided draw, and 6% of the tags go into that pool. So you got 84%, 10%, 6%. Since New Mexico doesn't have a point system, the beauty of it is, in addition to how it can be pretty inexpensive, like I said earlier, it is one of those places where you, if you've only been applying for a year or 5 years, or this is your first year, you have the same odds as I do, even though I've been applying in New Mexico for over 20 years. That's the beauty of not having point systems. If you're new to the game, you got just as good odds as I do. If you want to find out what your odds are, the best place to go is right here. It's a goHunt system. They have the best draw odds out there. Oh, for archery, everybody knows I love hunting the Gila units if I can draw. Ooh boy, those aren't that good of draw odds. But at least you know what your draw odds are. By weapon, archery, then by rifle, then by muzzleloader. So in addition to the best draw odds out there, these strategy articles that you get from goHunt are worth every bit of it. They are very, very detailed, talk about everything you can think of. And for our viewers who sign up for the goHunt Insider and use promo code Randy, you're going to get $50 of store credit in their gear shop, which is a really, really good gear shop. When people think about New Mexico, they first usually are thinking about elk, and then maybe antelope, then maybe deer, then some of the more exotic species, desert bighorn and Rocky Mountain bighorn. They have both those. They have oryx, they have ibex, they have Barbary sheep, outad as they call them. They've got a lot of stuff going on in New Mexico here. I'm going to talk about the elk hunts first because that's what most people are interested in. There are really no bad elk hunts in New Mexico. The archery season is split into, in most units, 2 archery dates. September 1st through the 14th is the early archery. September 15th to the 24th is late archery. And then they start stacking anywhere from 1, 2, or 3 firearm seasons in each unit. Most of them have 2 firearm seasons, some have 3. And when I say firearm, I'm talking about some of them are rifle and some of them are only muzzleloader. There are some units in New Mexico that never get hunted with a rifle. It's strictly archery or muzzleloader. When you talk about big antelope, New Mexico always comes to mind. But they've got some real funky stuff going on there as it relates to their rifle antelope hunts. So the archery antelope hunts, If you draw an archery antelope tag, you get to go hunt whatever public land is in the unit and any private land you can gain access to. On the rifle side, you're going to be allocated or assigned a ranch. Yeah, you're going to be assigned an administrative boundary of a ranch that includes all the deeded plus all the leased public land within that ranch boundary. And you will get told you're assigned to this ranch. You can't go hunt other public land in that unit. You got to hunt that assigned area. It's a bit of the roll of the dice. I've been on some really great ranches in New Mexico, and then I've been on some really marginal ones. It just depends on what your assignment is. Deer is a bit unique in New Mexico. They have mule deer in the northern part of the state, central part, and in the eastern part. If you look at where most of the big bucks come from in New Mexico, they come from the north and the northwest units. So we haven't spent much time on the sheep species or the exotics of oryx and ibex. Reason being is the tag numbers are really, really small for all of those species. And if you think about non-residents only getting 6%, in most instances, there's probably only one desert bighorn or one Rocky Mountain bighorn that goes to a non-guided non-resident. Sometimes maybe there's enough issued that year that there'll be 2, but we're talking about really small numbers. So I've really not focused on that. If you got the budget and confront all that money, that they're really expensive tags in New Mexico, these sheep, and especially the desert sheep and the bighorn sheep. Your odds are really, really small, but if you got the budget, go for it. If you have a youth hunter in your household or a mobility impaired hunter, I think New Mexico has the highest quality youth hunts and mobility impaired hunts of any state out here. They give you the opportunity to take the youth and mobility impaired into some of their best units, as far as age class being just wonderful. And a lot of these units aren't the real, what should I say, extreme topography, extreme terrain units. And the season dates are excellent. Usually the youth and the mobility impaired people get to go before the general rifle hunters. New Mexico is really doing a good job when it comes to promoting hunting for these young people and for the mobility impaired hunters. When you're applying for deer or elk, you're going to see in the application there is tag type S, which is standard, which is lower price. And then there's a type that'll say Q, which is quality, or HD, which is high demand. Those Q and HD type hunts are going to cost you a little bit more money. So there you have it, folks. New Mexico is simple. There's no point system. It's inexpensive if you ask for the refundable part of your license. There's great hunting to be had. And if you want the full detail, way more detail than what I've provided in the video, go out here to goHunt, sign up for the Insider, use our promo code Randy and get $50 of credit in their gear shop, and draw your New Mexico tag. Tons of public land, great hunting. You just got to get that tag and go.